You're listening to the Productive Therapist Podcast, the world's greatest and most brilliant resource for busy therapists who'd rather be laying on a beach in Hawaii. Each episode is packed with simple tips and inspiring insights from the Productive Therapist team to help you grow your practice and have fun doing it. So without further ado, let's help you get more done and have more fun.
Hi there. Thanks so much for being on the podcast. Can you tell me a little bit about your business and the specific challenges that you solve for therapists?
Hi, Uriah. Thank you so much for having me on the podcast. My name is Emily Ferguson, and I'm the founder of Confident Private Practice, and I help mental health practice owners achieve business confidence. So we help businesses grow. We help them reduce their stress, save time and money, and become financially stable. And this is all specifically geared for mental health therapy practices. And some of the specific ways that I do that is helping practice owners calculate their client retention rates. And I offer virtual training to their therapists on how to ethically retain clients. So a lot of times we have practices struggling to fill therapist caseloads, and but they're losing the clients that they already have. And so keeping those for clients, retaining those clients can be a huge immediate boost to profit and help therapists have a more consistent schedule, more consistent income, and help the practice to do so as well. One of the other things we do is train intake coordinators to increase their conversion rates to 50% or more. We do this using a proven call script and method that I found to be helpful when I was an intake coordinator myself. Developed this process. I've trained multiple intake coordinators with this process. And I just love to see their conversion rates go up and have the clients that are reaching out for help actually be able to get in and get that help that they need. They feel held and supported and just walked through a smooth process. And then another thing that I help practice owners with is one-on-one business coaching. And this is just comprehensive business training on everything on the business side of running a therapy practice. So everything from the retention and the intake coordination that I already mentioned to some organic marketing, attracting your ideal client. What does your website look like? Is it drawing in the clients that you want to draw in? How do your rates look? Are you charging enough? Are you raising your rates every year? We track metrics. I train practice owners on the most important metrics to track, how to do so easily, and what to do with that information once they have it. We look at their profit and loss, and I review the financial health of their practice, and we coach on how to improve profit. We talk about reducing cancellations, help them build standard operating procedures. I help them build surveys for their clients so they can find out what's working for clients, what's not working, tie this back to therapist performance, and learn how to serve their clients better. And I work with them on hiring therapists, everything from job descriptions to what to include in employee agreements, vetting candidates, onboarding checklists, and also compensation plans that actually make sense and that are really providing therapists the compensation that they deserve for the wonderful work that they do, and also not draining the practice and having them paying out so much that they're no longer making a profit. So the business coaching is really comprehensive on all of those business fronts.
What's the most common mistake you see therapists making, and how do you help them avoid it?
Yeah, so the most common mistake that I see therapists making is that they're too much in the day-to-day weeds of running their practice and they're not stepping back and really being the visionary. A lot of practice owners just don't know what to focus on, so they're often putting out fires as they come up. One day intake coordinator calls out sick, and so the practice owner is taking calls, or a therapist says that they're quitting, and that's a big hit to the revenue of the business, and then they're kind of scrambling to find somebody new. Therapist complains about compensation plans, so they raised the compensation plan, but now they're looking at their bank account and it's drained, and they're going, "Oh man, I can't believe I'm paying the therapist this much." Just whatever fires come up throughout the day, they're kind of scrambling to put those out. And so, what I really like to help practice owners do is take a step back and look at the big picture of their business, get back into what they love to do. So, if they don't really love being a business owner, what they really love is being a therapist, and the group practice is just a way to make some extra income from that, but they don't really love the entrepreneurial side, then they really need an operations manager who can get in and do all of those business tasks for them, and really not just um, not just do tasks and do administrative work, but actually be able to make the decisions at a much higher level, and bring, of course, the highest decisions to the practice owner, but be able to do it in a way that is actually giving them a recommendation that's based on knowledge of the industry, what works at other practices. And so I do that for some of my long-term clients. So I have like the short-term retention trainings, business coaching, and all of that. But I do have long-term clients that I come in and I'm the operations manager, either temporarily until they find somebody to fill that role, or just long-term for years. And and I really just take over that whole business side of the practice for them. And then even if there's someone who really loves to be an entrepreneur, like it really excites them to run a business, they still shouldn't be in the day to day. The practice owner's job is to be the visionary of the practice. So you're going to have your specific niche, the thing that you're really good at. Maybe you're an amazing couples therapist. Maybe you really focus your practice on EMDR, you're helping people through their trauma, and you're passionate about this particular thing. You do it really well. You got into therapy because you love this, or you've developed it over time as you've been a therapist. And this is the way that you want to help people. And so I want you, as the therapy practice owner, to own that vision and to be able to create that vision for your practice. And you need an operations manager. You need somebody who knows business ins and outs, who can be thinking through how are operations tied to our human resources, tied to our marketing, tied to our networking, how do all of these things work together so that nothing's falling through the cracks. Someone who can track metrics for you and really get the practice on habits and routines. So everybody in the practice should have daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, annually tasks, habits that they do that keep the practice running smoothly. That's everyone from the intake coordinator to if you have a lower level practice manager, in addition to your operations manager and your therapists, should all be on these routines, and you need somebody who's guiding the practice through that. And then you can focus on being the visionary. So yeah, just most common mistake is seeing therapists be in the day-to-day weeds of the practice, not be in the visionary because they don't have the support that they need. So I really love to help practice owners with that.
What's one simple thing a therapist could implement this week that would make a real difference in their practice?
It's a really great question, Uriah. I love it. The thing that I like to have practice owners start out with is retention. And that is because these are clients that they've already brought into the practice. These are clients that already value the work that they do. That's why they're showing up, right? But then for some reason, some of these clients are dropping off. So why is it that we have some clients staying for 10 sessions, 20 sessions, 100 sessions even, and we have other clients who drop off within a few sessions? What's going on, right? And so I'd like to have therapists start by taking a look at their retention rate. I have a resource on my website. It's confidentprivatepractice.com/free dash resources. And there's a 3-step guide to tracking retention. So if you go download that, it's just a couple of pages. It'll help you understand the importance of tracking retention and also the exact formula for how to do it, and take a look at your retention rate. And if it's less than 90%, then an easy thing you can start doing this week is to start just open up the conversation with your therapists this week about why is their retention so low. If you look at the retention rates for each therapist individually, you'll notice you have some that are consistently over 90%, and then some that are, maybe 50, 60%. And just start asking the question, why are these therapists with the lower retention rates not able to retain clients as well as some of your other therapists? And as you open up this question, you might find that your therapists say, well, my clients tell me that they can't afford therapy, or my clients, I don't know. I try to get them to schedule for the next session, and they just don't. They just don't want to schedule another session. They say, well, I'll get back to you. I'll let you know. Or they're going to have all of these reasons that are valid, right? We can't control clients' finances. We can't control if they move out of state. We can't control if there's, say, a domestic violence incident in their relationship and therapy is no longer appropriate. Um, but you have some therapists that are retaining clients anyway, and others that aren't. And the difference is therapeutic alliance. And so start thinking through that of you'll notice, well, two things, therapeutic alliance and some really specific administrative processes that just prime clients to be able to stay. It makes it easier for them to stay when these things are in place. So that's what you can do this week is just track your retention rate, notice the difference between different therapists, open up the question, and when you hear those answers, don't just take them as inevitable, that there's nothing that we can do to retain clients. Start thinking about how could some of these therapists retain clients the way that other therapists in the practice are already doing, right?
For therapists who are hesitant about investing in the kind of solutions that you provide, what would you want them to know?
So what I like practice owners to know is that there is a difference between hiring someone to do administrative tasks that you have to follow up on and they come to you and ask questions versus hiring someone who is coming in with the expertise to take ownership of projects, be a leader in your practice, train your team, train you on business things that you didn't learn because you went to school to be a therapist, not a business owner, right? And there's just a huge difference between those two mentalities and those levels of expertise. You can certainly hire an intake coordinator in the US for $18 to $25 an hour. I even know practice owners who are outsourcing that to other countries and paying $5 an hour. You could certainly hire a practice manager to do a lot of the tasks that I will be recommending to your practice, and these are things that you should do. You should have an intake coordinator. You should have a practice manager, and they're going to cost you less per hour. But they're not going to come into the practice with the kind of expertise that I have. um, they're even if they have previous therapy office experience, all they know is how to run the practice based on what their previous therapy office did. And when I come into a practice, I have the experience of working with dozens of therapy practices and seeing what works and what doesn't, tracking the metrics to understand what works and what doesn't, being able to come in and provide you with solutions to the problems that you have rather than adding more problems or having a bunch of questions for you. So that is the difference, and also that it's a short-term investment for long-term benefits. So I can come in and just do a retention training for you, and that's going to increase your profit immediately. And if you continue and your team continues with implementing the things that I've trained them on, that's going to be long-term, thousands and thousands of hundreds of thousands of dollars over time difference in your practice. We can also do just a short-term um, client conversion for your intake coordinator. Do a training there, and that's going to boost your practice long term, just that short term training. Um, or we can work more in depth. We can really go through all of the things that I mentioned earlier and in the business coaching and really get you feeling confident as a business owner that you understand the ins and outs of everything from operations to human resources to organic marketing, how it all flows together. Just putting together the different pieces of this puzzle, and it's a little bit more in depth, well, a lot more in depth, a little bit longer, But within a couple months, we can take your practice from maybe struggling, from just barely being able to cover payroll, not converting the clients that are calling, not retaining the clients that do convert. We can take it from that to a place where your practice is thriving, where the clients who are calling are converting, and then they're staying with you long term. And your therapists are feeling good about the compensation plan. You don't have therapists bugging you about filling their openings anymore or working second and third jobs because you're not providing enough clients. Just the whole thing can become easier, less stress, more money, better schedule for everybody. It can really it really can work that way within a couple of months. And so that's the difference. There is a difference between hiring someone who just knows administrative tasks versus hiring somebody who has expertise in the field and comes in to solve problems for you.
Thanks so much for sharing about your business. Where can listeners find out more about your services and connect with you?
So you can find me on the Productive Therapist directory, of course. You can also find me at my website, confidentprivatepractice.com. From there, you can schedule a free consultation call, and that's 30 minutes, and we will go through everything that you're concerned about, anything that you need, questions that you have, and we'll find a way to work together that is unique and customized to what you need for your practice. You can also download free resources there. I have two guides, the 3-step guide to tracking retention and 12 steps to growing your therapy private practice. So if you're not quite ready to directly connect with me yet, you can just download those, take a look, see if what I'm offering makes sense. And then when you're ready, reach out for that free consultation call, and I'll be happy to chat with you. I often provide lots of free information in that call just because I really enjoy helping practice owners get started on being more confident business owners. And then we can go from there and see if it's a good fit to work together.
That's it for today. Thanks so much for joining us. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave us a review and hit the subscribe button to make sure you never miss an episode. If you're looking for more personalized help, you can reach us through productivetherapist.com. Thanks so much for listening. We are Productive Therapist, and this is the podcast that helps therapists get more done and have more fun.